Good morning. Welcome to the Willows New Bridge Housing. LA Family Housing is thrilled to open this property for 85 people who have been experiencing homelessness to have a safe, nurturing place to come indoors. Seeing participants move in today is what LA Family Housing works towards every day. Knowing that people have a supportive, nurturing environment to heal, to rebuild, and to work towards moving into permanent housing is the vision and the mission of Bridge Housing at LA Family Housing. The Willows, with 85 beds, with accommodations for people's companion animals, with mental health services on site, with our housing navigators on site, with warm, welcoming environments where people can socialize, meet with their case manager, whether it's outside in our gardens, indoors in our dining hall and community room. We've created and thought through each need that our participants have as they move forward on this path into permanent housing. Thank you all for being a part of this with LA Family Housing. We're so proud to be working together to move more people home.
Hi again, everyone. It's Stephanie. What a great morning we had moving everybody into the Willows. And now I'm here with our elected officials to thank them and to thank our community at large for the grand opening and for all who made it possible to reach this day. As I mentioned earlier this morning, the Willows will provide 81 people, both individuals and couples, a safe and nurturing home as they transition out of homelessness. So far today, we're planning on 24 people moving in today. I believe 16 have already moved in, 2 of them being couples. So we're really proud that this is one of the first bridge housing sites in Los Angeles to accommodate couples. What I didn't get to share this morning when I gave you a welcome from the site of the Willows was an acknowledgement of the land on which this property sits. The Tongva Nation nurtured this site and has deep roots in the community. During our development of the Willows, we worked with Chief Anthony Morales of the Tongva tribe and received his blessing for this project. And we coordinated with them on the naming of the property, the Willows. What we learned in the process was that the Tongva people used willow branches to construct their homes, or what they called at the time, their shelters, when they lived on this land. And so collectively, we chose the name the Willows out of respect for the people and the history of this space. What a year we've had, right? This has been a year of great challenge and of isolation for so many of us. And I believe that we really overcome such isolation by being a part of and creation of community. Today, we celebrate being a part of the community at the Willows. I'd first like to thank, I don't know how to turn my head, you, Supervisor Kuehl, for your vision, together with your fabulous former homeless deputy, Molly Reisman, for helping us see that we could repurpose this former county office building into much needed housing for our community. Supervisor, thank you so much for being a fierce champion for housing and services for our neighbors experiencing homelessness. Together with Molly and you, Councilman Blumenfeld, and your team, Jenny, Jake, Cecilia, and Liz, our staff met this community for many months to plan the development of the site. With their feedback, we worked closely with GGA architects to incorporate the values of the community into this beautiful haven. Its courtyard, soothing colors, healing spaces. This is a place of renewal as we help people navigate their path into permanent housing. Thank you to Altman's Construction Company, AMJ Construction Management, for helping us realize the vision of this design. Today, as you can see, I'm joined by our County Supervisor Sheila Kuehl, Mayor Eric Garcetti, City Council Member Bob Blumenfeld. We really could not be here without all of your support, so thank you. Thank you to the LA County Department of Health Services for the provision of more than $8 million in capital improvement dollars for the construction. Thank you to the City of LA for the provision of HEAP or Homeless Emergency Aid Program funds to acquire the site. And finally, I want to thank my LAFH team for their commitment to our participants. It starts from the leadership of our board of directors. Thank you all. Our real estate team, thank you to Elda Mendez Limas and Sylvia Rivera for seeing this through. And now our property will be supported by our facilities maintenance and ops team led by Charles Johnson and the boots on the ground providing services every day. Thank you so much to Kimberly Roberts and Kelsey Madigan. All right, those are some big thank yous, but the biggest ones go to the three of you. And with that, I'd like to introduce our county supervisor, Sheila Kuehl. Excuse me, I misspoke. The mayor gets to go.
No, go. Sheila, all you. Go ahead, Sheila.
Eric, I defer.
Go, I defer back. You can only do it once, unless you want me to sing.
Uh,
Okay, I'll give you
no.
a preview and then I'm gonna toss it to you and I'll give a speech when, because I know you're pressed.
Okay,
So it's
you play
Bob
the
from
piano
council-
and I'll sing.
Bob from the council and Sheila from county, Stephanie KG from family housing, new beds for housing and mental health wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Blessed by Tongva, here with Lhasa, even DWP. Put it together and mix it all up and progress for all, you'll see. All right, Sheila, back to you.
Wow, that was just fabulous. That was better than when you played the piano and I sang over the rainbow. Stephanie, I'm really, really glad to be here. Very happy to be here with everybody watching this today. You know, this pandemic has monopolized so much public attention, and rightfully so. But it's been really a little too easy to overlook the work that the city and the county have done over the last year to reduce homelessness and expand housing capacity and options for people who live here but just can't afford to pay LA's often sky-high rents. So my thanks go to the mayor, our singing mayor, and Councilmember Blumenfield for keeping this work moving forward despite the many other challenges that face us. So let me say a little word about this facility and what's really special about it. So imagine that you got sick, not so difficult to imagine these days, unfortunately. You lost your job and you and your partner, even together, can no longer pay the rent. So you end up without a place to live. And you're offered a place in interim housing, but you and your partner, if you're a heterosexual couple, can't go together. Your partner might end up in a men's facility. You might end up in a women's facility. Both very good, but not together. So would you, in that moment of incredible vulnerability, actually leave the person you cherish and need most in your life for an interim housing bed? We don't want you to have to make that choice. We need and needed to create housing that meets people's most deeply human needs. So that's why I'm so happy to see this first bridge housing for couples, housing that is both partner and pet friendly, open. It's also meaningful that this is the first bridge housing that we've opened in the San Fernando Valley west of the 405. All over our county, people need housing that meets their needs. And it's really, really great to see it happen here in Canoga Park. So thanks to LA Family Housing, thanks to Stephanie Klasky-Gamer and her team for vision, for working so hard to make it real. And of course, I want to recognize all the residents in Canoga Park who met with our offices, talked with us, shared their concerns, and embraced this effort. This is how we end homelessness. We need beds, we need buildings, we need places like the Willows. So Stephanie, back to you to throw to whoever is the next person. Are we going back to the mayor?
Sure, I'll jump on in.
Excellent, please.
Thank you, Supervisor, and I really mean it. Bob and Sheila and Stephanie and Heidi and Libby are among my very favorite people, and the teams that you represent, present and past. I'm glad for the shout out of Molly, and I know you're continuing that momentum, Sheila, Bob, to you and Jenny and everybody on your team. I know when you both said you could do this, that it would get done. And I want to thank Stephanie, Klasky Gamer, and everybody at Family Housing. We always know it's in good hands, whether it's permanent housing, whether it's transitional housing, whether it's outreach, when we have can-do people. And I am just overjoyed to be with you at this virtual groundbreaking. And Bob, a special shout out to you, because early on when this challenge was put forward, not everybody from every council district jumped at the opportunity, but you did, because you are a leader in this city on the issue of homelessness in your district and beyond. And it goes without saying that Sheila and her team have been the cutting edge of making sure we actually get to the populations we need. That to have a bridge home that is housing for couples, to be the 25th of what will be 28 sites, providing 2,156 beds at any given moment when we're at full strength post-pandemic, is just a remarkable another tool for us. And Sheila put it right. We've had 8,000 people the county and the city together have housed during this pandemic. You're less likely to be COVID positive if you're unhoused than housed. We need to prioritize vaccines for folks in those congregate living areas, which I know that the supervisor feels, and myself and the council member, and as soon as the supply allows us to, that'll be a top priority to help people come in and to incentivize people for coming in too. So it's really an extraordinary moment. We have more than 100 projects for HHH that are coming forward together, often working with the county funds as well, at about $133,000 of city money per unit. That means that people can move from transitional to permanent housing. We're working hard with the Biden-Harris administration to greatly increase on the way to a universal entitlement of housing vouchers, right priced at the rental markets where they are, which to me is the biggest weapon we could ever have to put people actually into real life and not have to build our way out of this, but actually house people out of this. But the 75 beds at the Willows, and I want to end by thanking those who came first, the Tongva. This is holy land, and it remains holy land. And you put that meaning into it with the spirit of what we launch here today. So thank you, Bob, for the hard work, the tough meetings that I know you always go through when something like this happens. Thank you, Sheila, for not only saying the course, but also shout out to our City Administrative Office, General Services Department, City Attorney, Building and Safety, Los Angeles Fire Department, and DWP for prioritizing this so the county could get the sign off that we all need to make sure there are human lives being changed. And with that, I'll toss it over to you, Bob. Bob Blumenfield, the great council member of the 3rd District.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for that nice introduction, but more importantly, for your leadership on creating so many homeless interventions in the city of Los Angeles. You have been truly amazing, and your citywide bridge housing initiative is going strong, and I'm thrilled that this is part of it. Your whole team has been great. You mentioned a lot of the departments. I want to add one more, Streets LA, Adele Hashkalil, because they stepped in to help provide some extra parking that we needed to make this project work. It's as you all talked about, it is a great collaboration between the city, the county, the community, LASA, LA Family Housing. And Supervisor Kuehl, thank you so much for your team and being the driving force to make this project happen. I am so grateful. 3 years ago, when Sheila called me up about the possibility of this site, I remember clearly you asked me, if I would consider bridge housing in this area. And I didn't hesitate. I told you, we're desperate for such a site. And then you said to me, well, think about it and get back to me. And you give yourself some time. And I said, no, I don't want to think about it. Let's get rolling. Let's start working with the community right away to make something happen. And since then, it has been a fantastic partnership. You're always a great partner on so many different issues and such a leader. I'm thrilled to know you, Supervisor, and to work with you. And I'm also thrilled that we're opening today the first bridge home in the West San Fernando Valley. For too long, we just haven't had the resources that we need for the homeless population of the West Valley. But that's changing. Just last month, we converted 2 room key hotels into Project Home Key hotels, the first 2 conversions in the city. And that's also another great partnership with Stephanie and LA Family Housing. Thank you guys for that. And in a few months, we're going to be opening up 2 more cabin communities in my district, more safe parking, and a variety of other projects and housing options are coming online this year as well. And I'm proud that the Willows, as was mentioned, will be the first citywide bridge home that will accommodate couples, because we know that not allowing couples is a barrier. Not allowing pets is a barrier. Not being in close proximity to one's neighborhood is a barrier. Feeling that a shelter is unsafe is a barrier. With the Willows, all of these very real barriers are eliminated for the homeless people in the West San Fernando Valley. That's something we should be proud of. I'm also very happy that unlike many other bridge home sites throughout the city that are designed to be temporary structures, this bridge home is a permanent structure that is designed to last. It will help homeless people transition out of homelessness for decades to come. And as was previously mentioned, this building is on land that was home to the Tongva tribe, and they used willows trees to create shelter, warmth, and safety, hence the name. So thank you to the Tongva tribe for your input in the name and blessing to use it. I also got to give a big shout out to the Canoga Park community for really stepping up to support this bridge home and for leading in the fight to end homelessness. I know there were bumps along the road, but this community and the neighborhood council cares, and their support was critical to making it happen. And last but not least, of course, Stephanie and LA Family Housing, you guys are not only running the facility, but you are doing so much for the West Valley homeless population. Everything from the underpass pilot that we did, where we were able to find shelter for everyone living in the underpasses, to the Project Room Key, to today. Thank you. And now I want to turn it back to Stephanie so we can move to the virtual ribbon cutting.
All right, as you are getting your ribbons, let me give a quick shout out to the DevCo team at LA Family Housing for making virtual, this way, there you go, for making virtual grand openings a thing. This, whoops, this one goes up. Hold it, you got it? Good. On three, wait, Bob, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Hi, welcome to the Willows. My name is Elda Mendez-Lemus. I'm the Vice President of Real Estate for LA Family Housing.
And I'm Kelsey Madigan, Director of Interim Housing for LA Family Housing.
So at the Willows, we have a hot room where we hot treat all of the participants' belongings when they come in off the streets.
And we also have safe boxes here as well, so participants can store items that may be able to keep them safe when they're on the street but aren't able to come in because we view them as contraband.
So as part of what we built here today, we have 3 private offices for our program staff. We've created a conference room to host meetings with everyone who's working on site and a staff break room.
And the reason why we have all of our offices, or most of our admin offices, right here in the front of our building is so off-site partners or people who are visiting the site that need to meet with our participants are meeting with them here and not having to walk into their sleeping or living areas to meet with them. Something that's super unique about this building is that we have cat and dog housing here. So we partnered with Greater Good Charities in Philadelphia to assist us with outfitting the rooms with kennels for dogs and cats, also hammocks and things like that for our emotional support and service animals. What is especially important is that these rooms will house dogs or cats when their participants are going to therapy appointments or job interviews and things like that, where they can't bring them with them.
We have also created 3 case managers' office that are in separate wings of our facility so that each wing has their own individual case management office to be able to meet with each participant. So there's a women's wing, a men's wing, and a couples area.
And in this specific office, we will house a mental health specialist that will be meeting with the participants for therapy, connection to Department of Mental Health, and other therapy services as well.
In the women's area, we have 2 semi-private sleeping quarters, which we'll walk you through. We also have a community lounge area where we have 2 computers where participants can use to look for jobs, entertainment, and whatever they may want to use a computer for. We also have tables where they could play games or just interact with each other. We have a sitting lounge area. We'll have TVs. There's also special reading nooks areas, and so we've tried to make it as cozy as possible so it feels like they're arriving to a place of peace and where they can start their next journey.
And what's super special about the Willows is that we have so many different community spaces for participants to hang out where they can choose where they want to hang out that day. Also, something extremely important to recognize is we have skylights throughout the entire building. This is a trauma-informed care touch that we added for people who are experiencing mental health barriers like depression, who maybe aren't able to get out of their bed. Natural sunlight really helps with those things that are related to mental health barriers.
We took a lot of trauma-informed care principles into our design and our furniture. We took biophilia, so if you look throughout our furniture, you'll see that there's a lot of wood. We have a lot of acoustical panels that are honeycomb with vinyl paneling throughout our storefronts. So we're walking into the women's wing where there's semi-private sleeping quarters. There's a panel that surrounds the sleeping area where a participant will have storage underneath their bed, and there's a cabinet where they can place their personal belongings.
And now we're heading to the restroom area. Our participants have separate toilets here and then separate showers here. Another trauma-informed touch that we had for the showers is that participant is able to shower privately and then get dressed right outside in this area before they're able to return to their beds. A couple of reasons why we did that is so that participants who maybe experience abuse or sexual trauma are able to be fully and completely dressed privately before returning to their sleeping area.
So we're going to walk into the men's wing, which will also host a community lounge area designated only for men, with other case management offices here as well.
And we specifically designed our case management offices where there's a lot of windows, so there's a lot of oversight on the site. You can see into the dorm areas and you can also see into a lot of the common areas as well.
At the couples sleeping area, we also have a semi-private sleeping quarters with full-size beds so couples can sleep together and interact together. We've provided them with a whiteboard for messages, and each bed is numbered so that our staff is able to coordinate which bed goes to which participants.
And what's really awesome about this couple sleeping quarters is we are the first interim housing site in all of Los Angeles County to have couples be able to sleep in the same bed together. Also, speaking from a mental health model and trauma-informed care, it's very important for couples to have physical touch and be with their partner. So we really wanted to embody that as we were designing these specific beds for couples. And now we're heading into our community room area. This is for all participants, for males, females, couples to hang out. We have our warming kitchen that we cater through every table to provide meals for every single participant at our site. As you can see, even around this room, we have all of our kind of beehive design textures that are soundboards to make sure there's no echoing in our building.
So because this is a community dining room area, we do anticipate that there will be a lot of noise in this facility. So we did add this acoustical artwork piece, which is included as part of our trauma-informed care in creating the honeycomb design. And so you'll see that throughout the facility everywhere. Again, we've used those green and light yellow hue colors that will provide some kind of peace to our participants. And this facility is not only meant for eating, but also for them to be able to interact and commingle with other genders and to be with one another. So here at the Willows, we also, for security, after hours when doors lock, created an intercom system so that a participant can come in after hours, press the intercom, and it would notify the staff that is on site that evening that they need to be allowed back in. We also worked closely with our program staff to create our security camera location and system, and so we have cameras all throughout the facility, indoors and outdoors. We've worked really closely with our program staff early on from the beginning of this project, and so in collaboration with them, we created the spaces, how many offices were needed. We also worked together on looking at the furniture, selecting the colors, and really bringing in, again, all of our trauma-informed care principles indoors.
And like Elda said, we have participant coordinators and security on site 24/7. Participant coordinators are doing crisis intervention with participants, meeting them where they are, doing risk assessments and referrals out to community resources as well. We also have mental health specialists on site, which you saw their offices earlier, and they provide mental health care and connection to mental health services for participants as well. Like Elda said, it has been amazing working with the real estate development team on building design, on all of the colors and the little finishing touches to the building to make sure that everything is trauma informed for our participants and for our staff that are working and living on site.
As part of our trauma-informed care, we added plants throughout the facility. So as you can see, there are plants here in the lounge areas, and we're adding plants throughout. We also included some of these stools that serve as side end tables and stools so that participants can use and bring in the biophilia design. Some of the outdoor plants and outdoor materials are indoors, including our honeycomb acoustical panels. And now we're going to take you to the outside and the courtyard, where we've created a lot of seating areas for participants to come out and enjoy the sunny Southern California weather. And so you'll see that we have umbrellas. There's a lot of landscaping that we added outdoors, and so there's planters, trees that will all grow in the next couple of years.
And since our site will have several emotional support animals and service animals on site, we also created a dog run here. What's special about this dog run is that you can wash your animal here as well. We included plumbing that allows participants to wash their emotional support animals outside. Also, as you can see, there are several different hangout areas for participants here. We find that our community areas are a place where participants can hang out, get to know each other, make some new friends, play with their animals together, and things like that. And we also have a double-stacked bike rack right in the front of the building for 60 participant bikes. A lot of our participants get around the area on their bikes, so we wanted to provide a space where they can store them.
So we really want to thank you for coming on this tour with us. We're excited and happy to present the Willows to you and our community.
And we are very excited to see your participants here. Thank you.